This week, Cab and I are going to go to the George Wyth, I think that's how you pronounce it, George Wyth or Wyth, George Wyth, that's how I'm saying it, State Park. We're going to go check that out. Right now we're at the Cedar River Wildlife Area. Cab was demanding a pee break. We're only about a half an hour away from the state park, but we stopped here. Doesn't seem to be much here. I can't tell if that sign said private property or not. I'd have to get out my app and look. But either way, we're going to get a quick pee break. Multiple the way it looks. And then we're going to get back on the road, and then we're going to hit the state park. So we'll see you over there. Back this way, buddy. Over. 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 Come on. Good job. Oh, hold on. You got caught. Okay, let's go. Through the forest green to the mountains face, you make the wild feel like the safest place. You sniff the air while I map the trail. Together we're strong, no way we'll fail. The world out here feels big and free, but it's just you and me under this canopy. Oh, my hiking dog, you're my trailside guide, with your wagging tail and your endless stride. Through the forest green to the mountains face, you make the wild feel like the safest place. Hiking dog, you're my trailside guide, with your wagging tail and your endless stride. Through the forest green to the mountains face, you make the wild feel like the safest place. Cab and I are at the George Wyth State Park. The lake that we're hiking around today, I don't think we can make it all the way around, I'm not sure. But we're going to be walking along here, is the George Wyth Lake. There are 4 lakes in this particular area, in this park. Maybe 3 lakes, and then the Cedar River as well. But this is very, very much a rural park. As you can see, as a jet takes off from the airport, which is on the same road we came in on the park. I don't know if my microphone picks that up, but it's getting loud. So not typically the type of park that I would go to. But this guy wants to get on the trail and do some hiking. So that's what we're going to do. Wow, is that loud? That is loud. Let's get it, buddy. Let's go see what we can do. The George Wyth State Park has about 10 miles of unpaved trails, so definitely multi-use. I can see on the trail bike tracks, so there's hiking. It says fat tire biking. I think there is also some cross-country skiing on these trails. Whether they groom or not, that I don't know. But there also in the park is 3.5 miles of paved trails. We're going to hopefully stay off those as much as we can. We like sod. But the lake we're walking around, like I said, was the George Wyth Lake. And that lake is 156 acres. I'm not sure how big this park is, how many acres it is. I do know it was established in 1956 named after George Wyth, who was a pretty prominent businessman in the area. I'm hoping, since they named a park after him, that he donated all this land. There is also 2 other lakes. I don't know their names. Was one Edith Wyth Lake? Something like that. Another Wyth got a lake named after him. It'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it, to have a park named after you? George State Park. That'd be awesome. Only dog owners allowed. And their dogs, of course. Camping wise, there are over 50 spots available to camp here at the state park. I think 37 of them are electric. Maybe on our way out we'll drive through and take a look at what the campground looks like. This is definitely not a place that I would camp though. Just not my style. Hold up. Hold. Morning. Hey. Holy cow, Cab. You didn't even jump on him. You're learning. That's amazing. And then you got to pee on a tree. All right. So I've said it a couple of times already in this video that this park is not one that I would normally visit. Here's part of the reason. People are thinking I'm crazy because I'm talking to myself on the camera as they go by. But why would you go to a park that you wouldn't visit? Well, a couple of years ago for Christmas, my daughter's family gave me this board, and it had Iowa state parks listed on it, and it's got a little hole in it where you put this little plastic evergreen tree in it whenever you visit that park. It doesn't have all the state parks. It's even got some that it's calling a state park, but they're not. It's like a recreation area, something like that. But my goal is to eventually hit every one of these places on the board. So we got quite a few to do. We've got everything within a 2-hour radius of us. So a lot of these are going to be if I go out on a weekend trip. I mean, that's what they're going to turn into, because it's, you know, when you're 3 hours away, it's 6 hours driving just for one day. And that's a lot of gas just to hit that, to get the rest of those parts. But that's why we're doing it, even though it's not a park I would normally go to. Oy. There's more cars than people. Could that even be factually true? Maybe. So last year, or not last year, 2 years ago, I set a goal for myself to hike at least 1 mile in every county in Iowa in a year or less. And in Iowa, there are 99 counties. So Cab and I did that 2 years ago. We hiked every single one. We did record them on Facebook if you're interested in going back and looking at all of them. We just basically took a picture at each one and then moved on. It did take a good chunk of the year. We literally hiked in sunshine, rain, snow, sleet, but we got them all done. So it was kind of a neat little accomplishment. It wasn't hard, like some of them were exactly 1 mile. It didn't have to be a state park. The rule was that Cab and I had to be together, and we had to do it in a public green space. So that would not include just going into a county and walking down a street or walking on a gravel road. It had to be a green space. So we did that. And now we've got this other challenge. I haven't really given myself a time limit on that. Just because it's a little bit more involved and I want to do more than 1 mile at each one of these parks. And it gives us an excuse to get away from home and do some multi-day events instead of just an out and back for the day. Oh. So the lake you're seeing now is Brinker Lake, one of the 3 or 4 that are attached to the state park. There is a nice little trail. This one again is sod, which is nice. It's going to loop us back towards the direction of the RAV. I do not know how long this hike is. I'll let you know at the end. Doesn't really matter. We're going to take it until we're done. If it's short, we're going to find another place to go. But what's interesting is I just saw some Canadian geese, which are pretty normal in this area. But what I've noticed is that the geese, the rest of the waterfowl, are starting to move north, which to me is a sure sign that spring is coming. I guess it's officially here. We just had daylight savings time. Oh, I could do without that. But yeah, birds are moving north. Spring's coming. The other way I know spring is coming, how do I know? I pulled the Solomons out. Yep, I got my trail runners going. They're a little too airy for the wintertime walking. But right now, 52 degrees. Sun is shining. They're nice. Perfect. Yeah. Cab, he always wears the same all year round. All year round. Okay, so yes, this is an urban park. It's not in the city, it's outside of it. So I typically wouldn't come here, but I do love winding trails. They're just so much more fun rather than just a straight trail running along a fence line. Walking through the woods in this winding, meandering trail, it's pretty neat. I mean, I have to admit it. I like this section of the trail. So if you are living in the city and you're near this park, definitely come out. Or if you're traveling and you want to stretch your legs, come on out to this park and take a walk. Like I said, this section is pretty cool. Pretty cool. And if you want to know the route that Cab and I are taking, you can go to the Jake Fields All Trails. Go to my site on All Trails, Jake Fields, and just look up George Wyth State Park. That's W-Y-T-H-E, and you will see the route that we took. And you can take it if you want to. So 2 weeks ago, Cab and I stopped at a wildlife area that we frequent near one of the larger towns that we can go shopping at. We do that pretty much every time we go shopping if it's not too cold or too hot. If it's too hot, he's not with me anyway. I can't leave him in the car. But we stopped at it. It was the Coon Wildlife Area, north of Ventura, Iowa. And we just started out. We're a quarter mile, half a mile into it. And this coyote jumps out of the brush at Cab, sees me, turns, and then rushes back into the woods, or the brush, I should say. And I could see that it had a wound on its right hindquarter, and okay, let's go this way. Oh, there we go. See, I'm still not comfortable talking on camera in front of people who don't know what the hell I'm doing. But anyway, the coyote had a wound on it. It stopped right when I got back into the brush. So Cab and I said, I don't have anything on me other than a folding blade. We're not going forward. We'll go back around the other way and we'll do the other loop. And then last weekend, we were out at the range, our local shooting range, and every time I do a little target practice, and afterwards, Cab and I go for a walk. So we're going to get anywhere between a mile and a half. Just walking the range, walking the roadway in, and maybe a little bit of the gravel road coming into the range. Yep, those people are just biking. And when we were walking back, so we're still on the gravel road, the actual road coming to the range, there was a dog probably a quarter of a mile away. And I always worry, like, hey, there's going to be a fight. But it didn't come towards us. And we, headed back in towards the range. Got done. Saw a couple guys acting improperly at a range, goofing around. That's the time to get the hell out of a range when people do that. But then we got back in the car and we left. And on the way out, I saw that dog again. And so I drove over by it, and it definitely was feral. I mean, it was filthy, which a farm dog can get filthy. But this thing was scared of people, like big time. And it had to have been a feral dog. It just the way it behaved. And it just started making me think. And I wasn't carrying at that time either. I'd packed my guns in the car, locked it up, and taken a walk. But it made me start thinking that maybe I should be carrying whenever I'm out hiking, just for little things like that in case something does go wrong. I mean, if you're 10 miles out on a trail, which we haven't done in quite a few years, but if you're that far out, are you really going to turn around because there's a coyote hiding in the brush? Or are you just going to deal with it, move forward, so you're not doubling your miles when you weren't planning on doing that many? You didn't plan that. Or you run across a feral dog that isn't afraid but attacks. So that's probably something I'll be thinking about doing. Iowa is a constitutional carry state, so you do not need a concealed carry permit in Iowa. If you go outside the borders, make sure you're checking whatever state you're in and what their regulations are. But in Iowa, in state parks, you cannot have, I don't know if you can have a gun. I know you can't conceal carry in the state park. I'm not sure if you have a concealed carry permit, if you can, but I know you can't have a gun. You can't have a gun outside of a special hunt. And why I'm talking about all this is that when I get in parks like this that are close to urban areas, this is where all the freaks are, in parks. It's close to where they live. They come out, especially when you get into those mid-seasons, the spring and fall, where people can literally live out here. I mean, you could live out in these areas. And these crazy people are out here. And you get more people in general using the parks that don't give a rat's butt about what you think or your goal of being here, which for most people I would assume is peace and quiet and relaxation and having fun. Kids screaming and yelling, they're kids, let them do it. But for adults, or some of them just don't care. They'll be loud, they got their radios playing. You'll meet people that are walking their dogs off leash. Again, that's against every state park rule. Every state park in Iowa has a rule. You have to have your dog on a leash. And even if you have really good control of your dog, you don't know. You don't know if the next person coming up does or doesn't. So this is why Cappy's all on a leash all the time. But like if you run into a crazy person, what are you supposed to do? We'll check out this side trail, see if he can get a drink. Am I going to bash him over the head with my camera? If I have to. Oh, that's pretty cool. See, the geese are moving. It'd be a lot better if a person can carry, because like I said, this is where most of the freaks are. There's a lot of deviant behavior that happens in parks that most of us don't know about. And you almost want to be thankful about that. Also, when I'm walking in these type of parks next to urban areas, this is where I always think, okay, this is the day that I find, okay, that's deep there, be careful. This is where I always think I'll find a body in one of these type of parks. That's kind of gruesome, but it's true. Did you get a drink? Not too far. This is the Cedar River that we have here. Pretty neat. Full of geese and Australians. Okay, let's go. Oh, you gonna roll again? He doesn't know it, but he's got a spa day in 2 weeks. I hope the gal that cleans him up doesn't know that he rolled in coyote poop a little while ago. She'd be like, no way am I touching that dog. She does a really good job. Okay, so remember what I was talking about? Dogs on a leash? We just ran into it. Now luckily, the dog didn't see us before we saw them. The owner saw us before the dog did, and they leashed him, which is good. Thank you for that. People that I don't know. But again, there was potential there, and we're in a state park. I know you want your dogs to run. I'm sure anybody that watches my videos would be happier if Cab was off leash and running around. It's more fun to see. It's more fun for the dogs. But as owners, we got responsibilities. So we are in the campground. The side trail took us over to it. We're able to give you the walking view of the campground. These are the electric sites, like it says. They're decent sized. For my rig, it'd be fine. They're not too close to each other. Looks like plenty of shade. You know, when the trees leaf out here. Leaf out, not leave out. Leaf with a F. Learn to speak good grammar. But yeah, I actually like this site right here. It's just pretty nice. Cab likes it too. Must have had a dog visitor. But it's got modern bathhouse and a playground for kids and their parents. Big fire rings, table at every campsite. It should be. Again, I wouldn't camp here because I'm betting this thing is just packed. Packed in the summertime. Let's go check this out. I should say, I just saw the sign on the post there about the rail trail. It sounds like this park is connected to a 100-mile rail trail. If you don't know what that is, with rails to trails means it was an old railroad bed that was converted into a multi-use trail. Some of them they just let go, and that nature takes course. Some of them they'll actually put gravel on. We see these across many states that have done this. I think it's a neat idea. They can be a little bit boring. Are you done? Pee or get off that tree, man. There you go. But I think it's a great use of an existing trail just to get more people outside. Get those people outside, just not near me. So yeah, that was a little glimpse of the campground. Not bad. Not bad at all. Hey, come here. Check this out. Cabby, Aki, look what I just found. Look at that thing. It's like a Swiss Army knife with a freaking tomahawk on it. Another bunch of tools. What kind of knife is that? Crazy. Well, Cab and I are just about done with our hike. It's going to be just around 4 miles. So it's a nice one. I think we could do quite a bit more. He's still got a ton of energy. But we got a pretty good drive in front of us to get back home. But before we go, of course, he's got to get a drink. Get into that season where he can get all wet and cool down. You wouldn't believe it, but even at 55 degrees, whatever it is, maybe it's 60 by now, this dog gets hot. He gets hot in the summer. You good? You better shake. There you go. Let's go up this way. But I hope you enjoyed the video this week. Again, this is George Wyth State Park. And always with me, faithful dog. He's not listening today. He's not. Did you have fun? Yeah. rolled in some poop, drank some bad water. Oh man, we're gonna have a hell of a time. Yeah. We'll see you next time. Can't live in the park. Good boy. There he is. Good job. Good job, bud.